Hello, everyone. Oh, I'm going to change this to live chat. I don't know why it doesn't keep it as live chat. Hi, welcome to part 17 of our journey through Healing Lights by Susun Weed. It's been a bit of a morning. My cat, we're supposed to take one cat in for his annual checkup, and the other cat decided to be sick. So it's been a bit crazier than normal this morning. But yeah, so hey Jen, how are you? How are you doing this morning? So yeah, we'll probably take the sick cat in and get the well cat the checkup later. But yeah, just a whole family of stomach issues. Hi Stormy, good morning. Yes, you made it. You're gonna work and listen. All right, glad you're here. So I'm just gonna jump in. So we're reading page 50 and 51, and we're talking about the heroic tradition and punishment as cure in the heroic tradition. And it's it's an interesting topic. So so as I read, I want you guys to think about, have you ever used any of these punishments in your life? And if so, what was your experience with them? And I'm going to get to the punishments that she lists in a minute. And then if you've read it, feel free to answer. When the body wins and drags us down, when the mind fails and gives into negativity, when the soul/spirit is clouded and our light dims, when we sicken, we suffer, we die. To live, to be happy, to get well, we must clear away the clouds, stay in balance, keep the body disciplined. So this is all according to this heroic tradition that we've now crossed over. We were in the wise woman tradition, which is quite different, quite a different way of looking at health. And remember, these are all distilled to their very essence. So, we find these ideas scattered around in bits and pieces. So I find they sound a bit harsh when they're distilled like this, but we probably recognize some of this mindset, these ideas from going to see various practitioners. Simply put, the heroic tradition tells us that disease and pain, and even death of the soul as well as the body, occur when we do something wrong or bad and do not atone for it. To get well, we must right our wrongs. How can we right our wrongs and get well? Asking for forgiveness can help right the wrong, and so can punishment. With forgiveness and repentance, we can clear away the wrong we have done. Admitting our guilt in doing the wrong and causing the problem helps prepare us for the punishment. The punishment absolves us and cleanses us and heals us in the heroic tradition. So also there may be, a few, also I guess once you think about what other traditions does the heroic tradition sound like as we read, this idea of doing wrong and punishment. Not the cheeriest the topics. I have to admit that. So let's see. But we'll get to it. We'll get to it. So it's not all doom and gloom and whips and chains. Let's see. Punishment absolves us and cleanses us and heals us in the wise woman tradition. The punishment balances the wrongdoing and makes way for forgiveness. I have caused suffering. May my suffering bring balance. Punishment is absolution, knowing that we have caused pain and problems for ourselves and others by our wrongdoings, by giving in to ever-present temptation, and that we are likely to do it again. We hope to return and remain in a state of grace and health with absolution, with proper punishment. This is the heroic tradition. What is the proper punishment in the heroic tradition? Deprivation is a proper punishment, especially depravity. I can now pronounce that word. It's depravity, but it's the act of. So, of the flesh, fasting, strict dietary rules, excessive exercise, and bitter tasting medicines are proper punishment. Setting strict limits is a proper punishment, especially limits on normal activity. Limited sleep, limited sexual content, limited stimuli, and limited ease are proper punishment. Withdrawal is a proper punishment. Withdrawal of physical contact, of affection, of emotional support, of acknowledgement. Belittlement and negation of individual worth is a proper punishment. With proper punishment, we are ready for forgiveness, ready to regain health and return to the light in the heroic tradition. Forgiveness is dependent on guilt. There must be a guilty party, someone who has done wrong, before we can forgive. We can blame ourselves, we can blame our parents, we can blame the world, but we must have someone to blame so we can forgive and be well. One of the keys to healing in the heroic tradition is the establishment of guilt. And these are in little quotes. If I hadn't eaten that hot fudge sundae, I wouldn't have this terrible cold. And in parentheses it says, I'm a bad person and deserve to be punished. In parentheses, at least it's teaching me a lesson. Like there's a correlation. Cancer is a repressed emotion, and I bet if you hadn't really told him what you thought, you wouldn't be sick now. You are bad and deserve to be punished. I sure hope you learned your lesson. The universe is a terrible place to be, full of hard lessons. When will I ever learn them all and do everything right so I wouldn't feel so much pain? How can we establish guilt? First, ask why. Why did this occur? Why do I feel so bad? Why am I in this trouble? Why does this always happen to me? Asking why enables us to establish guilt. Answering why helps us set the rules for future behavior so we won't get hurt and sick again. That's a pretty crazy concept. So, guys, yeah, have you used any of these punishments? And then what was your experience? And also, like, are these punishments all punishments? Is there like another way of looking at them? And then, it would take you, if you looked at it differently, it would take you out of this heroic tradition viewpoint. But, I do feel like they can be looked at different ways. So, and I'm going to read this tiny little bit, and then I'm going to just chime in with my thoughts on that. And then, if you're watching this in a replay, feel free to put this in the comments or in the Facebook group. You can answer if you wanted to. So rules and the heroic traditions, a tiny paragraph at the end of page 51. Just talking about rules. Rules are vital in the heroic tradition. Rules help us avoid pain and disease. Rules tell us what's right and wrong. what's good and bad, what's clean and what's dirty. Rules establish boundaries. Rules divide the circle of the heroic way into high and low, black and white, good and bad, pure and unclean, male and female. Food rules, feeling rules, spirituality rules, hierarchies, judgments. The heroic tradition abounds with rules, and each individual tradition within the heroic tradition has its own specific rules. The rules of the heroic tradition often conflict with the rules of another heroic tradition. It is not agreement on the rules themselves that constitutes inclusion in the heroic tradition, but agreement that there must be rules. So it sounds like there are different heroic traditions and they all have rules, but they conflict, and it doesn't matter. They're still heroic tradition because they have rules. Okay, so what I'm going to say that for me, and this is a deprivation of strict dietary rules. And for me, I have digestive issues. I have irritable bowel syndrome. So I have to adhere to strict rules. And sort of if I stray too far away, then my digestion gets more grumpy and it's unhappy. I know that if I eat too much sugar, that's really not good for me. So I am very strict on that. And I don't really feel like that's so much a punishment. I feel like that's something that I set for myself to look after my own health. There are those like extreme exercisers and stuff like that. So that would fit into here where you're just like constantly exercising, or even eating disorders, a very heroic tradition. So just some of my thoughts. And I'm going to leave this here, and we're going to just jump into nettles because it's been a couple of weeks, and we really haven't gotten that far in our discussion on nettles. Just there hasn't been too many people, and I have less time because I've been working on Thursdays. So so that's really kind of I felt like we had a good discussion about nettles like 3 weeks ago, and then that is where we sort of left it. So so next week we're going to read page 52 from the heroic tradition, and it's women hating in the heroic tradition. I really don't like the heroic tradition very much, I've decided. And then who is this young white male also? So those two little bits for next week should be interesting. And okay, so I'm just going to read this Nettle Weed Walk. We had some nettle homework to find some nettles, to drink some nettle tea. And so, everyone just continue with that. There's some nettle recipes, and I need to post them, scan them in, and I'm going to post them to the Facebook group. I don't know if it's this week. It may be next week. So maybe that would be a good homework, like to make one of these recipes if you like, just to get like some experience working with our friend Nettle. That's really the best way to learn about a plant, is to just, see it in the wild and like cook with it, make medicine out of it, drink tea, all kinds of stuff. There's a let's see, there's nettle beer if anyone wants to make a beer. So there's some. Okay, so Nettle Weed Walk. Come out into the richness of spring. Yes, our friend Nettle. That's right. And I did, if you have the book, and I also need to scan this in and do like a little thread. I did a little coloring of the picture. So I'm trying to color all the whoopsies. This book is actually I should read from my other book. This one is falling apart. I have a new one. But I'm highlighting that one, so what's in here that I don't need? Let's see. There we go. Nettle Weed Walk. Come out into the richness of spring, the moist richness of spring, which is no longer spring anymore. It is, we're getting on to fall. Pretty much in fall. To search with me for stinging nettles. We won't have much of a stretch, actually, since this dependable perennial shoots up her dark blue-green growth in the same places every year. Come down here where the water wheels and sweeps. Here's Nettle. Come over here in the corner where the barn meets the garden. Here's Nettle. Look here in the black soil spilled up by the river. There is Nettle. So close to May Day, we shall find plenty of big, tender nettle leaves and stalks for our supper. So you want to, so it's past the time to really cook with it. Because you want to use like the tender new growth, the tops in the spring. So now would be a good time to like dry it for tea and stuff like that. And do other things with it because the leaves get really tough. So you want the, so I can bite you. Just kidding. Where am I? See how the pointed and serrated leaves grow in pairs up the unbranched stalk, making her look like some huge lush mint, and how deeply grooved the stalk is. When I cut through the stalk with my fingernail or knife, we can see inside the stalk, there it is, hollow and threaded through with pink. What a beautiful surprise. Oh, wow. I've never opened up a nettle stalk before. So that's cool. I'll have to do that. Yeah, I don't have any experience with that. So the stinging hairs are also a hidden surprise. I know about that. They stay discreetly underneath the leaves and scatter themselves down the stalk. They aren't sharp at all, just delicate. Lightly touch them or accidentally brush them and drops of stinging acid are flipped at you. Touch them with attention and the acid stays put where it can't sting you. Ah, look, in the summer spots the nettles are knee-high and taller. By the time this year wheel has turned to Harvest Fest, some of them will be as tall as your head. They're so beautiful now, aren't they? Luscious, revved up green energy in the lush of growth, spring in her wilderness. Nettle is playful in the summer. She's grown so tall and sports two kinds of flowers, dancing, nodding, frolicking in the breeze. No, you can't see the flowers now. May is too early in upstate New York. You can hardly even see them when they are there, truth. But if you wait 3 moons, then come back and look right here and here at these places where the leaves grow from the stalk, those are her armpits, axles to the botanist. So it had a very small flower. which I've also never seen. I don't have like my friend is just growing a patch of nettles, so I have not seen it all in its cycle. Let's see. Why there you'll see lots of little strings. And look there all at this plant when you come back in the summer. Look near the top and you'll see the tiny male flowers in dense tufts pointing up. I'll return here in autumn to harvest seed. Meanwhile, I'll keep a sharp eye on those female flowers. They set their seed and drop it to the ground in rapid succession once they bloom. So I'll have time my seed collecting I'll have to time my seed collecting very precisely and ask the weather diva to give me a sunny day. Nettle is so lovely in autumn sun and autumn winds, about to bend to winter and return to her underground roots. Have you seen the root? No. Let's not dig one up today. I'll tell you what it looks like. It's a small and white and skinny and called not a root but a rhizome. I declare she can sting. This nettle, she likes to keep her roots or rhizomes to herself. And I forget the difference between a root and a rhizome, which she's not explaining here. But there is a difference. And I'll have to look that up for next time. Answer that question. I guess though if you can endure the sting, the roots can be transplanted easily enough, and that's what's more, they make a superb hair lotion. Strange though it may seem, I found that I won't get stung by nettle leaves or stalks if I pay careful attention and grasp firmly. Maybe I've never paid enough attention to the nettle roots. Let's gently uncover these. See how the nettle rhizomes cross over each other and weave a net in the earth. Do you know they talk to each other through this neural net? I found the truth of this last spring, contrary to my unusual encounters with nettle. Parentheses, I'm known for picking nettle barehanded and for occasionally eating it raw. End parentheses, she's very brave. Because that sting only comes out when you cook it. Every time I went to pick nettles last spring, I got stung and stung. Some of the welts blistered and made my joints tingle, then feel numb. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I was paying lots of attention to my beloved nettle. Why was she stinging me so? Then I found the answer. I noticed some blue-green tips struggling out from under some unused garden pots I'd hastily piled in a corner of the greenhouse. Nettle, what a surprise. She'd never grown inside the greenhouse before. I cleared the pots away so she could grow up straight and apologize for not paying attention. So nettle has this, with the plant, there's this idea of paying attention, and we did read about it with Stinging Nettle Speaks. But that was a lot of years ago. That was several weeks ago. I think there's the idea that since the plant can sting you if you're not careful, that you are supposed, it's a plant that asks you to pay attention. So that is just an idea, and that's what she's talking about. I mean, I use gloves. There's this theory where, like, if you handle it a certain way, you won't get stung. But I use gloves. So, And even through the gloves, you get this tingly sensation that's like super strong. So it's quite packs quite a punch, this plant. Next day, I began my main harvest of tender nettle tops. Since some we cooked for lunch, some we cooked and froze, but most I quickly hung in small bunches in a shady place to dry until crisp. And I wasn't stung to attention by my sister spinster, though I admit that after a full day of handling nettle barehandedly, my arms did tingle from fingertips to shoulder blades well into the night. I enjoy the sensation. It is intense but not painful, like the pins and needles you get when circulation returns to a part that has fallen asleep. Other people could feel the buzz in my hands whenever I touched them that evening. The next morning, only a lingering warm glow reminded me of my reunion with the sister nettle. The harvest won't be for another few weeks this year, so you have plenty of time to get ready for it. Come here every day. Really pay attention to the nettle. Sing to her. Talk to her. Focus your attention on nettle. So long as you give her your full attention, she won't have to sting you to get it. So I like that. That's a little bit about Susun Weed's experience with our friend Nettle. And that's exactly how like the tingly feeling through the gloves felt. All right. Well, this might be a really short one. Stormy is at work. Thank you for staying, and I know you're listening. But I guess I could go on a little bit more, and it will probably be a short one this week, I think. So, you know what? I've got several other books to read about nettles too. And at some point we'll get to them. So this is stinging nettles, leaf / stalk properties and uses. So here we're getting to the medicinal business of it. Or I get to type in stuff. So, I'm gonna type in the Latin name again. So that's I think it's a V, but I know it's an O. Yeah, it's an O. D-I-O. I keep losing it. Okay. I think somebody may have saved a nettle in our garden. I call him a weed farmer, but I just looked online and I think he saved a nettle. That's crazy. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, if you just let that nettle go, you'll get more. I mean, it does take over at some point. And then you might have to like weed it back. But it's fantastic. It's a fantastic plant. And I love it in like teas and and you know, you can cook with it. She's got recipes for a soup. It's great in soup. She's got a souffle, a quiche. What else? Beer, like I said, but there's other recipes. It's just that one standing plant right now. It's tall. Yeah, it grows really tall. So yeah, that's interesting that you guys have like just one nettle. But you should have more because it's gonna drop those seeds. So next year, the last time I harvested it was a whole hillside just covered in nettle. Yeah. Have you ever had the nettle tea? Okay, you haven't. It's a very green tea, and you put you get like a mason jar. I forget I think it's the quart size. And you put like 2 handfuls in. You fill it up with boiling water. You put the cover on it, and you wait. You know, you let it sit overnight, and then you want to strain it out. And it's going to be super green. I would try it first without, heat it up. Try it first without honey, and then add honey to it, because I find it super delicious. I mean, it's fine without it. It's a tea with a capital T, so it's good without it, but it's just I love it with it, so it's just amazing. So I would definitely try it both ways, and just see what you think. It's a little difficult to take it medicinally as a tea because you have to drink so many cups. What does it taste like? I love sweet things. Yeah, it tastes like candy. I don't know. It's super yummy with honey. And I don't think you need a lot. So, yeah, I've never had anything that tasted like it, so it's hard to describe the taste, but it's definitely sweet and yummy. So yeah, if you get a chance, I would give it a try. And even if you don't like it, you're like, well, I've tried it. I've experienced a tea with a capital T, and then you know how to make a medicinal strength tea. So my dad used to make sassafras tea for us. I miss it. Yeah, that's great. That also tastes really yummy. I think you mentioned, were you in one of the other lives? I think you mentioned it, or someone else mentioned sassafras tea. The one where we're starting to talk about nettles during the weed walk, like 3 weeks ago. And I hate that if it was, I forgot. If you did that, I forgot. But and I think sassafras is a little controversial. I think it has like a constituent that is just a little controversial in there now. So people don't drink the tea now. But yeah, it's delicious. I feel like it has a similar quality. I don't remember, maybe because it's been on my mind. No problem. I forget everything. Yeah, I remember. I did bring it up. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. Awesome. So it's with the honey, it's similar in taste, but not exactly. It's, I don't know how to describe the taste of sassafras. Kind of reminds me of like sand. It's got some sort of like more astringent quality in your tongue because it's sort of like, like, cause it's sort of, I think, and then nettle is sort of smoother. It's got a smoother taste, more like vanilla. So yeah, when you put the honey in. But this is nettle leaf stalk properties, and these are the main ones. Nutritive, kidney, ally, alternative, pectoral, and hemostatic. Oh man, I'm excited. Yeah. Do you have access to dried nettle? I mean, I have an herb shop in my town, and also, like, I like to order from Mountain Rose Herbs, which you may or may not be familiar with, but they're great if you are familiar with, or if anyone out there watching. Mountain Rose Herbs is awesome. Oh, just your one plant. Okay. So, yeah, I would, if you don't have like a local herb shop that has the dried nettles, because one plant's probably not going to do it, I would, I'll type this in. So it's mountainroseherbs.com, and they're a great company. They're a little pricey on the shipping, but they're a very ethical company, and they don't carry something if they can't get it ethically. They're very environmentally conscious. You can get fantastic essential oils, organic essential oils, for a really, really good price, and a lot of other supplies. So yeah, definitely check them out. They're really great. So okay, so let's look up what all these words mean. The nutritive. I can. Nutritive provides biologically active optimal nourishment in the form of vitamin complexes, minerals and trace minerals, amino acids, sugar, starches, and the residents of health, wholeness, holiness. Kidney ally, obviously that helps the kidneys, but let's see if there's another, like, even K. There's not a K, but it's a diuretic, which makes you pee. So apparently it's also a laxative, which makes you poop, or a slight laxative. I didn't know that. Okay, so that's all under, that was under kidney ally. So alternative. So that provides a provides a gradual and beneficial change in a being. And pectoral, I'm not actually familiar with that one. Nourishes and strengthens the chest, relieves lung disease. And then hemostatic, stops or controls bleeding internally or externally. And that's the fresh juice that does that. That's what she says. So that's cool. If you were like bleeding and you put on some of the juice, that it would help with that. So those are some of the like actions. Oh, my lungs need help. I've smoked for 30 years. Oh, well, have you quit smoking? It's just a question. So if you haven't quit smoking, there are fantastic herbal smoke blends with a wonderful plant. No, I don't think I can. Okay. So there's some herb. Let's see. Well. Okay. So there are some herbs. One of them is mullein, and you can take it as a capsule. It's mullein leaf. Well, yeah, let me read the part on nettle and see if she says what you do. And this would be strengthening your lungs. And then I'll talk about the mullein, which is not in this book. So nettle leaves and stalks are a respiratory strengthener. Breathe deeply, make some fresh nettle juice. Blend a small amount of water, then an abundant amount of honey into the juice. This can be your ally. I'm not sure how you make the juice, though. Oh, okay, this is how you make the juice. Are you, have you joined the Facebook group? Are you on Facebook? So there's a link in the description. And I'm going to read this, but also I can scan this information in and post it to the Facebook group. So you won't have to write so much down. So this is how you make the juice. Rinse fresh nettle leaves and stalks in clean water. Juice immediately in a mechanical juicer, or wrap wet nettle leaves in a cloth and heat gently for 30 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I'll scan this information in for you so that you will be able to like look at it. And so if you don't have a juicer, you can still wrap wet nettle leaves in a cloth and heat gently for 30 minutes in a cloth and heat the cloth. Wring out and collect juice. Okay, interesting. So you wrap nettles in a cloth and heat the cloth gently for 30 minutes. I wonder how you do that. You like put it in a pan or a pot? Wring out and collect juice. Use at once or keep refrigerated no more than a day. To preserve longer, combine 1 part juice with 4 parts of vodka. This can be stored at room temperature and will keep for up to a week. So this is going to be difficult because, yeah, probably to keep the stringy things contained, yeah. Because of you would have to find a source of fresh nettles to make this juice. but I'm going to go back. I'm going back and reading the, so that's how you make the juice. So you want to blend a small amount of water, then abundant amount of honey into the juice. This can be your ally. Taken by the teaspoon, 5 ml, to help heal bronchial and respiratory issues, stop internal bleeding, and curb excess mucus. Try this nettle honey and some wise woman wiles when healing those with colds, flus, asthmas, bloody coughs, bronchitis, lung or chest wall sores, pneumonia, age-related respiratory diseases, even tuberculosis. Old wives' stories circulate of people who cured themselves of severe lung diseases with daily use of nettle. Try a half-cup serving of nettle green several times a week for up to 3 months, repeated for several years, or drink up to 2 cups of nettle infusions daily for the same length of time. And ask yourself these wise women questions. How is this problem my ally? What gifts does this problem bring? How can this make me and the world more whole? Boiled with barley and eaten as a porridge several times a day, the fresh or dry leaves of Sister Spinster stinging nettle loosens and brings up deep congestion without irritating sensitive respiratory tissues. Considered as specific for adults with asthmatic allergies, nettle tincture is used for acute care and the infusion for restorative and healing care. The fumes of nettle inhaled as a sweet bath or from the steam rising off a reheated infusion are effective ally when healing yourself or others during and after pneumonia, bronchitis, or others, especially watery chest complaints. That's a lot. So it sounds like there's a lot of options in the way to do this. You can do the tincture. It says drink up to 2 cups of nettle infusion daily for several years. So yeah, there's a lot of information here. So that's why I'm definitely I'll post it up. It does sound like it's very supportive of the lungs. It's astringent and is spasmodic. It is expectorant, which means that it helps bring up mucus. It seems that a lot of the help is for if you actually have like a cold, a chest cold. But I feel like the tea would be probably your best bet, or you could try this in a juice, which is a little more involved. So another herb which helps respiratory is mullein. And they do make mullein smoking blends. They do make herbal smoking blends. So I think that, if you are not able to quit smoking, what you want to do is support your lungs and your respiratory system as much as possible. Hi, Ozark. Hi, Donna. Hi, yes, you are very late. We're getting about 10 more minutes and I have to stop today. So, but we were talking about nettles and in relation to their ability to support the respiratory system. So that's where we are. And also Stormy is asking questions. So, yes. So you want to support that system as much as you can and heal, some of that damage. And maybe you'll be able to smoke less actual cigarettes. Oh yes, you can catch the playback. Yes. That is always going to be up. Sometimes these are a little more rambly than others. These book clubs, we do get off, since we're talking about health, we do tend to get off on health standards. But okay. Sorry, I'm having a hard time staying with my thought. Right, so I was thinking that and unfortunately I don't have like a good smoking blend to like point you in the direction of. Let's see. Can do some research on that. See if there's like a website that you can find them. You can also here in this state, North Carolina, you can get CBD flowers and already rolled up to smoke, and you know, that would be somewhat beneficial as well, I think, to that area. So my thought was, if you found a really good smoking blend with all these herbs, and if you sort of intersperse that with your other cigarettes, it might help you, you know, smoke less actual cigarettes. And then you're going to get the benefit from the herbs as well. And so one of the herbs you want to look for in a good smoking blend is mullein. So that will key you into a good blend. So, yeah. Black pepper essential oil is the main one I know that helps with nicotine addiction. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Ozark. Do you diffuse that? Do you like put it in on you as like an oil? Yeah, I don't know. We'll wait for Ozark to let us know. So, and there are a lot. Oh, for me, it was about the action of having something puff and inhaling. Vaping helped me. You take it internally. Oh, wow. Okay. I can't vape. It's hurting my chest. It's coughing like crazy all day. Okay. Well, even if you get these herbal smoking blends, I think it would still have a similar effect of, you know, sort of like having something in your hand that you're smoking, so it fits that, you know, your brain thinks it's smoking a cigarette, and it has a beneficial of the herbs. So there's some ideas for you to try, and it'll help strengthen this whole system in here. So Donna, how specifically do you take that internally? Like, how many do you put that in water, and how many drops? Because essential oils are really strong. So I don't have any experience with that particular essential oil. When you stop smoking, your body will cough a ton. It's smell like gunk. Yeah. And you could use this do this nettle juice with the honey recipe because it says it helps to heal bronchitis and respiratory issues, stop internal bleeding, and curb excess mucus. So it could help some of that. Put it in gel caps. Okay. And just a few drops twice a day. Okay, so Stormy, what you do is you can buy empty gelatin capsules. Oh, that's awful. I'm so sorry. Mullen, yes, we were talking about that. Okay. So yeah, you can buy, if you don't already know, you can buy empty gelatin capsules. Either you can get vegetarian ones as well, and then you would just drop, one or two drops into the capsule and close that up, and you would swallow it like a pill. So I brought up loads of lung stuff for a couple months after I quit. Hi, Heather. Yes, you did. Everyone's missed it today. Well, no, Stormy's been here, and Jen was here earlier. So, yeah, unfortunately, I have to get off soon. But we are talking about Amazon sells empty gel caps cheap. Awesome. We are discussing nettles, and we're talking about respiratory and how it helps respiratory issues, and we are helping Stormy with some ideas about how to support her and help with smoking. That's okay. That's okay. But I have the replay up. We were delving into, oh man, the scientific tradition. No, I'm sorry, the heroic tradition, which is kind of crazy. And I did skip. We skipped a little bit in talking about nettles. So, but yeah, I was putzing around being boardish. You were bored? Well, today Horace is sick. So it's not boring for me today, definitely. We supposed to take, I have work at 2, and my husband was supposed to take Eugene in the afternoon, but Horace threw up this morning and he wasn't eating. So, and he's got like digestive issues. I don't know. He gets these things where he just doesn't feel good. And so it was the whole thing about whether I was going to take him in and blah, blah, blah. And it's a little crazy. So he still doesn't feel good, but I'm not taking him in. So we probably will take him in this afternoon if he doesn't eat. Harvesting basil and playing with a new kitten. Oh, wait, you have a new, oh. So, which new kitten? Did you, oh no, it's, Horace. Sorry, my cat. My cat. Capture one of those babies. Oh, great. That's good, because I know in your video you weren't sure whether that was going to happen. So congrats. Yeah. he's just, I think he also has irritable bowel syndrome. I think we all do. So yeah, but I gotta go get some Pepsid, kitty Pepsid for him, and then, but we'll see. But all right, guys. Yes, I wish you feel better as well, Stormy. Unfortunately, I have to go. They keep scheduling me to work on Thursdays, which is sucky. And I'm also coming in like super early. But next week we will be back. And we'll talk more about Nettle. I'm gonna post a bunch of information on the Facebook group for Stormy. Cat puke is easier to clean. Yeah, that's a benefit. I agree with that. And kid puke, oh my gosh, awful stinky. My nephew like threw up in the car. Oh my gosh. The smell, well, you know, it was insane. It was insane. So, and I thank everyone for coming, even though, you know, you guys made it at the end, but I'm super happy you guys made it. What am I looking for? I'm looking for the page. So we are on kind of a crazy, we're out of the wise women tradition, and we are, of course, in the heroic tradition, which is very different. And so next week we are reading page 52 and 50, some of 53 of this book here. And you're reading woman hating in the heroic tradition, and who is this young white male? So that should be interesting. And after that is what filthy colon. So it's definitely a departure from the mindset that we have been talked about. But so that's going to be next week, which will be Thursday at 11. And I'm still working, so it'll be about an hour as well. I hate that I missed so much. That's okay. The replay will be up. It usually takes a little bit of a delay time, but it'll be up. And so, and feel free to comment if you have any comments down below, or in the or in our Facebook group about what we've talked about on any of them. So Colin's job is dealing with waste. It is, but this is from this heroic tradition, which is a little different, where I feel that they think that the waste is dirty. But we'll get to that. Or that you need to be like pure, you need to be clean. So like, I think the heroic tradition is where like you get colonics, and you get like cleanses that but you're never, you always have some, I mean, unless you're getting a colonoscopy and then you just have nothing in you, but for a short period of time anyway. If anyone's had a colonoscopy, they know what I'm talking about. They're like, yes, you will poop clear liquid. And I was like, what? Yeah. Anyway. Well, I hope you guys have an awesome day. I will see you next week. We'll continue with Nettle. I'm also going to try to post the recipes. So if anyone wants to make any of the Nettle recipes she's got, in the back of the book. In the back of the Nettle section. So, yeah. Okay. Yes, have a good day, everyone, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.